Welcome to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference, empowering the good. And we're honored to kick it off talking about the African American Heritage Society of Williamson County. We're joined by their acting director and president, Alma McLemore. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful today. Thank you so much, Jeremy.
Well, you yourself have a powerful legacy, a powerful story, you and your family. Let's start with your personal story, and then we'll take it from there. So give us a little bit of your family's background when you talk about Williamson County.
Okay, I'm a Franklin native, born and raised here. Wouldn't want to live anywhere else. Just so blessed to be in a community where there's so much love that I've just been able to enjoy in working with our organizations. My family, my father was from Thompson Station, and my mother was from Hickman County. And I had 6 siblings, and I'm the last remaining one of the family. But it's been a real joy to be in a family of 7, and I had wonderful parents. They taught me awesome things. They taught me the things that I needed to know to become the person that I am. We always went to church. We served the Lord. We believed in helping others. My mother would cook meals and invite people over. And after she passed, I took that tradition on. I love people. I love socializing and fellowshipping and just showing the love of God to every person that I meet. It's just part of who I am, inherited from my parents. So they were raised on a farm in Franklin. It was called the Short Farm, and it's still there now. I wasn't born there, but my family was. My other siblings, and they lived in a 3-room house where my father sharecropped, and my siblings would tell me all the things that they did and all the fun they had, and the fruit trees and all the different things they had growing up on that farm. So I missed all of that. I've never seen animals being born. I've just missed all of that because I was born in the city, and I think it's special. That's so special. But the memories that they shared and told me are good memories. Now the McLemore, my name, comes from a family, my husband. I married into the McLemore family. I have 2 boys, 5 grandchildren, and 1 great now. And so the McLemore family, the generations continue. And I'm just happy to be part of the legacy in Franklin that even though I married into the family, the McLemore legacy of Harvey McLemore is absolutely profound. I grew up, went to school here, graduated. I worked at Middle Tennessee Electric for 38 years. I retired from there. I was going to go into real estate full time. I did some real estate, but then I got so involved with the African American Heritage Society that there was just a great need for continuing to share and research and tell the stories and help people to know the importance of all history. African American history was being left out. And so just with these organizations forming and us, the African American Heritage Society, formed to fill that gap. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of it that I do have a real estate license, but I give my full time to the African American Heritage Society.
You kind of alluded to it, but talk about the mission, the purpose, and then we'll kind of dive in because you have a number of events you host, ways to plug in. So you're doing a lot of good, but go ahead and talk about the organization.
Okay, yeah. The African American Heritage Society was formed back in 1992 by a group of concerned citizens, both Black and white, who wanted to preserve and protect African American history. During that time, there was an organization called the Heritage Foundation that was well known for its historic preservation efforts and had gotten awards for so many things, but the African American history was not part of that. So these groups got together, both Black and white, and it was, Mary Pierce was the director of the Heritage Foundation, and Rick Warwick was he was involved with the Heritage Foundation as well. He was a historian. And then we had 3 educators. And we had a citizen, Miss Thelma Battle, who had gone around to all these communities, amassing lots of photographs and talking to people about their history. And then we had 3 educators, Mrs. Louise Patton, Mary Mills, and and Miss Bazilia Harris. They formed the charter organization in 1997. And in 2002, we were blessed to come upon the McLemore house. It was to be torn down by Habitat for Humanity. I was actually on that board at that time, Jeremy. And Mary Pierce and Miss Bella went over to the property and they were going to buy it. Miss Mary was going to buy it for other reasons, but Thelma Bella found out how important that house was and that it had been built by a formerly enslaved person, Harvey McLemore. He built that house in 1880. It still stands today. It's had its second renovation. We opened up in 2002 with the first renovation. And we had our first big major black tie fundraiser chaired by Doris McMillan. She's now on the State Historian Committee. And that was a big event that has evolved into an event of about 725 to 50 people. So that's our main fundraiser for the McLemore House Museum. Now, the story behind that was really amazing. Habitat sold it to the Heritage Foundation, and they deeded it to the African American Heritage Society for $1. So we still had to have it renovated, and the founders, the teachers and educators, they went to the bank and mortgaged their homes to get this house renovated. These were people that loved their community and saw how important it was. So that's how we got the McLemore House. And then our fundraising efforts are to continue to preserve the McLemore House. We also have another one, Jeremy, if you want to tell me, should I go to the next project?
Yeah, I was going to say, you're on a roll, and so it's the Merrill-Williams home, so talk about that.
Oh, how do you know about that?
I know enough to be dangerous.
Oh, cool. Okay, well, anyway, that house has a wonderful story of its own as well. It was deeded, that property was deeded to Moses Merrill by his former slave owner. Moses Merrill did not build the house. A.N.C. Williams' son, Tom Williams, actually built the house. But during the time of the Civil War, there was a battle on that property. During the Battle of Franklin, that was troops on the ground there. So that's a historic segment of it. In A.N.C. Williams, I want you to hear that name because it's so important. Downtown Franklin, historic downtown Franklin. A.N.C. Williams is the only family that's ever owned, African-American family that's ever owned property downtown Franklin. So his son, Tom Williams, actually built the house. So it's the Merrill-Williams house, but the history goes so deep. And think about it, ANC was a free man in the 1800s that had a business downtown Franklin, and people respected him. And he was a free man during the time of slavery. And now in Franklin, the city of Franklin has designated a street called A.N.C. Williams Way in Franklin, Tennessee. So that story is just very profound, and it runs very, very deep. In the Merrill-Williams house, we found out that it was going to be put on the market. It was put on the market. And we understood with the city of Franklin that the present zoning would allow for 2 houses to be built on that property. If you go down Natchez Street in Franklin, Jeremy, it's a historic district. It's already on the National Registry of Historic Places. But if you go down Natchez Street and Park Street, you will see a dramatic change. The properties have been sold off and there are large homes built there now. I am not against people building really nice big homes, but to lose so much, we don't want to lose any more homes to gentrification. So the community rallied around this, and we got together and formed groups, and we talked to the owner, Cassandra Taylor, and she agreed to a 1-year option to purchase the property. Can you guess how much it was? It's about a 3,900 square foot home. And right now, all around the properties are $2 million homes, Jeremy. But the house was selling for $610,000. It's in poor, poor, poor condition, because think about how old it is. But the value of the home was, I mean, that amount, it was valuable. It was worth it. And some developers were willing to pay that to build 2 big homes there. So we signed the contract. The African American Heritage Society did. The Heritage Foundation, the Bella Franklin Trust, Franklin's Charge, all of these are historic preservation partners in Franklin. So we try to work together to collaborate and try to save places that matter. So when we heard about this, also MTSU, Dr. Carol Van West is the state historian for Tennessee. So he is in our corner. He has been with us from day one with the McLemore house. So he told the whole group of people, the property needs to be deeded to the African American Heritage Society, and we want to be a part of it. So guess what they're going to do? They're going to have a satellite office there, and Jeremy's students will come and do research, and the research about the community, the Natchez community, the old stories and the buildings that were there, the businesses, there was a theater there were barbershops and grocery stores, and it was a thriving Black community after the Civil War that was right around the corner from the Carter House. The bloodiest battle of the Civil War, they were right. These African American communities were right there, and these people were thriving and had their own little city within a city, as one of our board members, Harvey Chrisman, used that statement. But that 264 is a treasure. And so the community rallied around, and we signed the contract. It started May 1st of 2021. So that gave us a year to raise $610,000. That's a lot of money, right? For a little nonprofit. So we got the word out there and got the community involved, and signed the contract that started May 1st. And on June 18th, that was Juneteenth, I was headed out to our Juneteenth celebration. We were having our 18th annual Juneteenth celebration. We have been having Juneteenth celebrations when it was so quiet and people didn't know about Juneteenth. So it's just really been a blessing. We've had them since 2004. So I was headed out the door to a Juneteenth celebration, and I got a phone call. And it was a friend, Emily McGee. And she said, Alma, I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning, and I'm going to give you $500,000. Is that not amazing? Anyway, she said, if you meet me in my office at my lawyer's office on Tuesday, just meet me. And she said, can you meet me? I said, oh, sure. I mean, whatever I had going on, Jeremy, I was going to stop. So I went on Tuesday, and when I sit down to sign the papers with her, she said, I'm going to give you $1 million.
Wow. That's amazing.
Is that not amazing? And what's so profound, people should understand this. And I know everybody's are not believers, but when we had our press conference about the house, when we first agreed to go for it, I said to the crowd, I said, we've got a year, but we got to do this in 6 months. We got to. I said, we're going to pray about it, everybody. And we're going to do this in 6 months. We're not going to wait for a year. And May 1st to June 18th, that's not even 2 months, is it? That is amazing at what God did and how we were able to get that money to acquire that property and put it in friendly hands so that we could be able to preserve it. Of course, we've got a ways to go, and we're going to continue to fundraise, because it's going to probably take us $1 million to get it completed. But you're going to see a wonderful, wonderful heritage and cultural center right on Natchez Street in the historic Natchez Street district, the cornerstone of Natchez, because it's on the corner of 11th Avenue and Natchez Street. And this is a community effort. If somebody gives $5 or $25 or $1 million or whatever, this is what we call the community save, because all around there have been so many homes that were not saved. So this is a big deal for Franklin and Williamson County. And we're just encouraging any preservationists or any groups out there that really know that there are properties that need to be saved, that are preserved, that have been long forgotten. And in order to continue to maintain the culture and the heritage and to continue to share those stories of the African American culture, go for it, because the community is ready for it. I think we've got so much support. People want to hear the stories, because you cannot tell the fuller story without telling the complete story.
Carry that forward into website, how we can get in touch with you, but also too, you mentioned events, you mentioned fundraising. So talk about the ways the community can help, and then obviously where we go to help and connect in with you.
Okay, the community, we want your involvement. We want volunteers. We want this to be a community effort. You can go to www.aahswc.org and you can become a member. You can sign up to volunteer. You can get involved in all of the efforts. You can donate. You can mail in payments or checks, or go online and make a donation. You can mail in a check to the African American Heritage Society, P.O. Box 1053, Franklin 37065. And we're just excited about being a part of the community, and we just want people to continue to embrace African American history, because it's so, so important. And it is part of the complete picture.
Absolutely. The website, again, is the initials for the African American Heritage Society of Williamson County. So it's aahswc.org is the website. So, Alma, thank you for all you and your amazing team do. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for the invitation.